Hello, everyone. My name is the Billionaire Idealist, and I'm just going to discuss a few topics about power. And basically, what I mean by power is telekinesis, telepathy, shape shifting, teleporting, levitation, things of that nature. And I'm sure the question has always been, are these things actually possible? Can a person really perform these abilities? Can a person actually have these gifts? The answer is yes, because the answer is based upon your perspective and your belief. And when I say your perspective, your belief, basically I'm talking about your core, your deep core inner belief. Something that you believe, something that you just know. You believe it, but you know it. Because you can believe something, but you may not necessarily know it to your core, is what I'm basically saying. So when it comes to telekinetic power and telepathy and shape-shifting, levitation, teleporting, are these abilities, are they real? Can we actually perform such things? The answer is yes. And again, I'll say it depends upon your belief and your inner knowing, your perspective. To give an example, when I say your inner knowing, like you are a man or you are a woman. And so because you are a man, you just know I'm a man. I have a penis, I have muscles, I have, my body is built like a man. So when someone asks you, say, hey man, are you a man? You say, yes. You just know that to your core. You know that. You know you're a man. You can walk on your legs. You don't have to question, well, am I a man or am I a woman? You don't have to question, can I walk on my legs? You don't have to question that. You just do it automatically. So that's what I mean when I say your inner core. Things that you do habitually, things that you do automatically, that's what's called your inner knowing. You just know that. You never have to question yourself on, you know what, I think I can walk. I think I'm a man. I think I have a nose on my face. I think I have eyes and ears and legs. I think I have these things. You never have to question those things because your inner knowing already knows, yes, I have these things. Yes, I can do that. So that's what I'm referring to when I say your inner knowing. Now, I guess the next question would be, well, how do you perform such powers like that? Well, that's all up to you because it's your reality. In your reality, you decide on what you want to do, how you want to do it, and how it should go. So I can't tell you how you should do something. You can only tell yourself how you should do it and why you want to do it, and if you can actually do it. I cannot control your reality. You control your own reality. And so because you control your own reality, that means that you have control over everything that happens inside of your reality. There is no right or wrong. Everything depends on you and what you want to do. And so when you think about telekinesis, right? What is telekinesis? It's the ability to move objects by using your mind. You use your mind to maybe roll a pen across the table, move a cup, maybe open up a book, turn a sheet of paper. That's telekinesis, moving objects with just the power of your mind. And then you have telepathy, which is basically being able to read others' thoughts and planting your own thoughts into the minds of others. understanding and knowing the energy that surrounds both you and other people. You can see it. That is telepathy, having telepathic abilities. And then you have levitation, the ability to levitate something into midair, lift it off the floor or the ground or whatever surface it may be lying on. That is levitation. And then you have shape-shifting, the ability to shapeshift into anyone. Not more so into anything, but into anyone. And most of you may recognize this ability in the movie X-Men performed by Mystique. She is a shapeshifter. She can basically turn herself into anyone and be able to mock their voice as well. So that is shapeshifting. And then you have teleporting, which is basically traveling from one location to another at the speed of light, basically. And if any of you are familiar with the movie Jumper or the character Nightcrawler in X-Men, he can go from one location to another just by thinking about it. And that's all it is. But when you think about these abilities, when you think about telekinesis, telepathy, shape-shifting, teleportation, levitation, these are not powers that you just see in a movie or an X-Men movie. And a lot of people confuse that. I'm understanding that a lot of people have a really closed off mind, and they're taught to believe that these things can only be done in a movie. Like, no one can actually perform these powers. It's just something you see in like a Marvel comic movie or something like that. And that is not the case. That is not true. Try to understand it like this. First of all, every single thing that you see around you, everything around you that you interact with, it came from somewhere. Everything. The house you're living in, the car you're driving, the food that you ingest, the clothes on your back, the cell phone, the smart cell phones that you're using, the technology, the everything that you are interacting with on a daily basis, it all came from somewhere. Where did it come from? It came from the mind. The mind is spiritual. We are spiritual beings. And again, just to reiterate the fact that you are not human, you are a spirit having a human experience. You are a spirit currently residing in a physical body, which we call the vessel. So you are not human. The name you have and the physical body you have does not belong to you. That is not who you really are. But I don't want to get off the subject. Anyway, these powers, they come from the mind. So when you see these movies, you have to understand that these producers, these directors, these movie script writers, they got this idea from somewhere. They got these concepts from somewhere. Where did they get it from? Take Steven Spielberg, for example. He's a genius. He's a visionary. And most people don't know that. He has a lot of creative and brilliant ideas and a lot of good movies that he's put out. But you got to think, well, where did he get the imagination or the idea or the creativity to come up with such brilliance? The mind. Spiritual aspect. Steven Spielberg is highly tapped in or deeply tapped in into his creative imagination. And where does the creative imagination lie? In the spiritual realm. Your creative imagination is not fantasy. It's as real as the nose on your face. But this earth, this matrix that you're living in, it's not real. But anyway, we won't get into that. We're talking about power and how to perform power, how to gain access to these powers. Using your mind, your reality. It boils back down to your reality. Can we perform telekinesis? Can we perform telepathy? Can we shapeshift? Can we teleport? Can we levitate? Absolutely. Yes, we can. But that depends on your core belief, your inner knowing, your perspective. How do you see the world? Or better yet, how do you see your perspective? How do you see your reality? What goes on in your reality? Do you control your reality? Are you grounded in your reality? Those are the questions that you should have for yourself. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. There is no such thing as something being too far-fetched or that's impossible. That cannot be done. It's all lies. You can do anything you want because it's your reality. You have the power to do it. You are a high frequency being currently residing on a third dimensional plane, which is a low frequency planet. We are high frequency beings. We are spirits inside of a human vessel, a human body, the matrix, if you will. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. So these powers, these X-Men-like abilities, most people would call them superpowers. But to be honest with you, there's nothing super about them. These are natural things that we all know how to do. But because of the society that we live in, because of collective consciousness that surrounds us, because of all the symbols and the signs that are around us, collective consciousness says, oh, you can't levitate. You cannot teleport. You cannot move objects with your mind. But if you reside in your own reality, if you know that you can control your own reality, you can do anything. Nothing is impossible. And to be honest with you, let me say this to you. Things like telekinesis, telepathy, teleporting, shape-shifting, these things are barely scraping the surface of what you can really do. Basically, these little powers are nothing compared to what you can really do. Because you are not human. You are a spirit in a physical body. Do not put limitations on yourself. And that is what I'm trying to get humanity as a whole to understand about themselves. Stop putting the limitation on yourself. Stop saying, I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do that. Let me put it to you like this. Don't ever, as long as you live, don't ever try to do anything. Don't ever say, well, I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do that. Don't ever try to do anything. Just do it. Let me ask you a question. When you drive your car to go to work and to get back, do you ever sit in the driver's seat of your car and say, before you turn on your car, have you ever sat there and said, I'm going to try to drive this car and get to work? Or do you just get in, turn the key, warm up your car, let it sit for a few minutes, and then you drive off? Do you ever try to drive your car? Do you ever try to eat food? Do you ever try to take a shower? Do you ever try to do anything in this existence? Or do you just do it? Because when you try to do something, you always fail. But when you do it, you succeed every time. So don't try to do anything. Just do it. Do you ever try to get up and walk from your couch to the television to turn it on or to grab your remote? Or do you just get up, walk to the remote, walk to your TV and turn it on? You just do it. Do you ever try to blink your eyes? Or does your eyes blink automatically? You just do it. That's what I'm saying. Don't try to do anything. Because when you try to do something, basically you're saying to yourself, I can't do it. Because if I have to try to do something, that means I can't do it. I don't believe that I can do it because I have to try to do it. So don't try to do anything. Just do it. And it doesn't matter what it is. It literally does not matter what it is. If you want to do something, then do it. Take control of your reality because it is your reality and just do it. Just like Nike says, just do it. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Just do it. Don't try to do anything. If you want to perform telekinesis, don't try to push a pencil across the table with your mind. Just do it. If you want to teleport, Don't try to teleport from one location to another. Just do it. But I will say this. Anything that you do takes practice, takes habitual practice. And what do they say? The more you do something, the better you get. It's the same thing as going to the gym. If you want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you want to be big, you want to be ripped, you want to have the body of a god, you want to have the body of Zeus, you want to look good, you can't do it overnight. You have to build up to that. You have to train yourself up to that. Because the more you do something, the better you get at it. Therefore, forming a habitual habit, and then you do something without even thinking about it. It becomes second nature. You just do it. And there it is again. You just do it. You don't try to do anything. You just do it. When you get up in the morning, do you try to brush your teeth, wash your face, take a shower? Or do you just get up in the morning and you just naturally do it? That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm telling you. You can do anything. Do not allow people around you to say, oh, you can't do that. That's impossible. And to be honest with you, a lot of people will say, well, that's impossible and you can't do that. Do you want to know why they say that? They say that because they're not on that frequency to see it. And because they're not on the frequency of telekinesis, because they aren't on the frequency of telepathy, because they're not on the frequency of levitation or teleporting, because they're not on that particular frequency, therefore they will never experience it or see it, because they're not on the frequency. You have to be on the frequency of something to actually experience it. If you're not on the frequency, you will never experience it. You will never see it. You will never cross paths with it because you're not on that frequency. Now, some people will tell you, hey, I've been riding planes for my entire life and I've never had a bad experience. Why? Because they're not on the frequency of having a bad experience. Some people have never experienced certain things in their lifetime because they're not on the frequency of it. It's not that they're immune to it or they're lucky or they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. No, they're just not on the frequency of that. That's all it is. Everything is a frequency. If you want something, be on the frequency. If your dominant thought pattern is on something particular, then you're on a particular frequency. Therefore, you're going to experience whatever your dominant thoughts are thinking about. So when it comes to telekinesis, when it comes to telepathy and levitation, shape-shifting, teleporting, in order to experience these things, in order to get your body accustomed and your mind accustomed to performing such great attributes, practice makes perfect until it becomes habitual, until it becomes a habitual habit, until it becomes second nature. You just do it without thinking about it. You don't try to do anything. So basically, I'm just here to tell you that telekinesis and telepathy and all these other wonderful and powerful abilities, it's not impossible. Just because you see it in a movie doesn't mean that it's impossible. In fact, because you see it in a movie, you have to understand that they got it from somewhere. That's just like if a person lived their life a certain way. People have made a movie about their life and the experiences that they had. So you mean to tell me because they made a movie about their life that it's not true? That it's impossible for that to happen? That's what I'm saying, people. Open up your eyes. Open up your mind. Expand your consciousness. Where do you think these movies or the ideas for these movies come from? Somebody tapped into the spiritual realm. Somebody tapped into their creative imagination, which resides in the spiritual realm, came up with this idea and put it out there. That's what happened. The smartphones you hold in your hand, the Androids, the iPhones you hold in your hand, the expensive luxury cars you're driving, the houses you're living in, the clothes on your back, the food you're eating, everything that you interact with came from the mind. And the mind is not inside of your body. The mind does not exist within your body. The mind is everywhere. The mind is universal. It's all over. You see it, you taste it, you breathe it, you know it, you love it, you hate it. It's everything. It's everything. It's all over. And people make the mistake and think, well, my mind is inside of my body. No, it's not. Your mind is not inside of your body. You tap into a universal consciousness. You tap into the creative imagination. You tap into the spiritual realm and experience wonderful things. So basically, the bottom line of everything that I've said is to get you to open up your mind and understand that you are more powerful than you can possibly understand. You can do miraculous things. But like I said, if you want to experience these miraculous and powerful things and these amazing things, you have to be on the frequency. If I wanted to listen to a particular radio station, if I wanted to listen to hip hop, I have to be on the hip hop station, which would probably be Power 106 or 92.3 The Beat. I cannot find hip hop music on 95.1. I'm on the wrong frequency. It's not going to play there. Do you understand what I mean? You have to be on the frequency to experience something. I cannot experience hip hop music if I'm on 95.1, which is a classical station. I have to be on Power 106 or 92.3 The Beat in order to hear the old school hip hop music. Same thing with your life. Same thing with your existence here. You have to be on the frequency in order to experience certain things. But you have to know that it's possible. You have to have an inner knowing that it's possible. You have to know, hey, I can do this. Yes, it does exist. Yes, it is real. Because this earth that you are living in, this is a matrix here. None of this shit here is real. We are all co-creating together. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You can do anything. Nothing is impossible. It's only impossible because you said it is. Did you know that? Something is only impossible because you said it was impossible. A person only gets sick because they said they were sick. If a person says, oh, you know what? I'm sick. I'm not feeling good. I have a cough, my sore throat. I have a sore throat. My nose is running. I don't feel good. Well, you don't feel good. You are experiencing those symptoms because you said it. That's why you're experiencing all those things. Your existence boils down to what you say. That is why they tell you, be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you say. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Stop putting limitations on yourself. You can do anything. You can do anything. Nothing is impossible here. This is a matrix. This earth is not your home. You do not come from here. You are not human. You are a spirit inside of a physical body, a physical vessel residing on a third dimensional plane, which most of us who are awake know it as the Matrix. Watch the movie The Matrix and find out for yourself. I don't want you to take my word for it, because that's the problem with a lot of people. Nobody asks questions. Nobody does research or studies to find out for themselves. Do your own research. Do your own homework. Go ask questions. Go study. Go do research. Do some meditation and find out for yourself. I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to go and find out for yourself. I'm just telling you that these things are possible, but I want you to go and find out for yourself, because I don't want to convert anybody. My objective is not to convert you. My objective is to get you to open up your mind just a little bit and consider the endless possibilities. That's all I want you to do. Just open up your mind just a little bit. You don't need to believe a word I'm saying. because you can go and find out for yourself. Because I just want you to know how powerful you really are. I want you to know the great and magnificent things that you can do. Remove the limitations off your life. Take the limitations out of your reality. It doesn't matter what your family says. It doesn't matter what your friends or your kids. It doesn't matter what the government says. It doesn't matter what this country says. The only thing that matters is what you say. That's the only thing that should matter to you. It should only matter about what you say. How do you feel? What do you want to do? Who cares about what everybody else thinks or what they say? What do you want to do? What do you want? How do you want your life to be? How do you want your reality to be? Nothing is impossible. Change your perspective one step at a time. Go down to your soul core and change your perspective, your belief, how you see the world. Just because somebody says the sky is blue doesn't mean that it is. Just because somebody says, oh, well, this is how it is, doesn't mean that it is. You can change it. Do you know that if you close your eyes and you don't observe anything, that is just waves of energy, it only becomes solid matter when you actually stop, open your eyes, and observe it. Then you get these shapes, these symbols, these hard-shaped objects in front of you, this matter that they call in front of you. You literally, and I mean literally, create your own reality. That's why it is so very, very important that you watch what you say and that you control the thoughts that come in and out of your mind. Because most of the thoughts that you get are not even your thoughts. But you think they're yours because they're inside of your mind. No, they're not yours. You're just picking up on what somebody else is thinking. You create your own reality. You are powerful beyond what you believe and what you can imagine. But like I said, I don't want to convert you. I just want you to open up your mind just a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe 1%. Open 1% of your mind and just consider the endless possibilities. Just sit back and be like, I wonder. That's all I'm saying. Just consider the endless possibilities. Just take a second and think about it. And if you don't like it, and if you don't believe it, that's fine. Then continue on with your life. Because what the one thing that people need to realize is this. It doesn't make you a bad person because you don't believe something. If you don't believe it, that's fine. That's your business. You have the liberty to do as you will in your own reality. If you don't believe in telekinesis and telepathy and all that stuff, if you don't believe that, that's perfectly fine. That doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. You just choose not to believe that, and that's fine. And that's how everyone should be. Don't try to force other people to believe what you believe. You can share it with them and be open with them about it and say, hey, you know what? I've been doing these wonderful things. I would like to share these things with you. But if they don't accept it, if they don't believe it, that's fine. At the end of the day, they're not a bad person because they say, I don't believe in that. That's bull crap. I don't like that. And I don't believe that. That's totally fine. Then live your life. Continue on with their life. Because we're only here to fulfill our purpose and learn our lesson. That's all. That's the only reason why you're here. And once you've done so, you move on. That's it. But like I said, for the most part, I'm going to end here. I just want people to understand how powerful you are. I just want you to know how powerful you are. That's it. I just want you to take 1% of your mind and just open it up and just consider something. Just be open for a second or a minute and then think about it and then tell me how you feel about it. And if you don't agree with it, if you don't like it, if you don't believe in it, that's fine. Because you're not a bad person because you don't believe something. You're not a bad person because you don't decide to try something. That's fine. You know, I don't like mayonnaise. I never like mayonnaise. I would never eat mayonnaise. Am I a bad person? I don't like guns. I'm not into guns. I'm not into cars. Does that make me a bad person? I don't want to learn about cars. I don't want to learn about guns. Does that make me a bad person? Absolutely not. If a person doesn't want to try to do anything or learn about something, that's fine. They're not a bad person because they don't want to. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they're not into these kind of powers. You're not a bad person because you're not. That's just, hey, that's your business. You have every right to feel that way. And that's how everybody should be. Mind your own business, live your life, be happy. Who cares what John and Jill and Billy are doing or what they're not doing? Live your own life. As long as they're happy in what they're doing, you should be happy in what you're doing. Stop trying to control other people and make other people believe and convert them over to what you believe. No. As long as you're happy in what you're doing, that's all that matters. I don't need the entire world to believe what I believe. As long as I believe it, as long as I know it, I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, if you want to believe it, if you want to do the same things that I'm doing, that's fine. But if you don't, it's still fine. But at the end of the day, telekinesis and teleportation and shape-shifting and levitation and all these wonderful abilities, is it possible? Yes. I am the billionaire idealist, and thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and have a great and awesome reality. And always remember, you are always in control of your reality. Thank you.